Joseph Campbell said that we're heroes of our own journeys, which means that in my life I'm a hero, which means that I'm probably on a hero's journey. And if I had to identify what kind of hero I am, I'd probably say I'm a hero who's an activist and a visionary. And as a hero, I have three sort of core beliefs that really sort of guide my decisions and the practices of the way I go into my rites of passages and the way I confront my beasts and slay my dragons in my life. Maybe they're not real dragons, but sometimes they're other things more scary, such as loss of friendship and loved ones and things like that. And so as a hero that is an activist and a visionary, I think that I like to stand up for what's right, sometimes in the face of injustice, and if I don't think things are fair, I try to stand up and say something about it. I also believe in trying to see things from different perspectives and from different visions, and try to understand other people's sort of point of views, and try to understand where they're coming from. I think that the more I can see things from different vantage points makes me be more creative in the way I try to solve the problems. And finally, I think one of my last core values is quite clearly my ability to try to be compassionate and try to care for those around me, the ones I love, and friends and family and people I interact with on a daily basis. I think it's really important to really be compassionate towards those. And I hope that these core values and my identity of who I am as a hero help me in my rites of passages to come and the one that I've gone through. And I think one that comes to mind for me is the rite of passage I went through when I was a teenager. I was a junior in high school, and just finished 2 years of sort of being confused, being angry, and not being a really good person, not someone I liked at least, and not necessarily having good friends that I really enjoyed, and found myself getting into trouble, and found myself not passing my classes. And I remember one afternoon I was sort of, feeling like I needed to change, ready to change, and I ran into an old friend of mine, and he informed me that he was doing martial arts classes. And I grew up doing martial arts when I was a little kid, but it's been years since I've done it, and I was like, I don't want to do that again. So I stepped up to the challenge and I decided to do it myself. And I remember showing up to the class, the first class, and just being able to jump in and kicking and punching and jumping and running and push-ups and working hard and sweating, and I was having the time of my life. I realized at that moment that something needed to change, and this is what I needed. So I continued to practice, and I worked at it, and a year went by. I had a job to pay for it because my family couldn't afford it. So I was paying for my own martial arts class. I was enjoying school more. I was making new friends, and I remember being in a competition, and it was a tough one to be in, but I remember taking first. And that was sort of the moment that I realized that I began to take this discipline and this practice and push it towards something positive in my life. And I realized that I was a lot more capable, and I was a lot more strong of an individual, and I didn't have to do the silly things that I was doing before. I could be happy and really enjoy the different lessons that I learned, and sort of how I began to incorporate it in my life after sort of being separated from my old life and transitioning into this new life of discipline and practice, and ultimately getting to the point of incorporating it into a way that I felt better as a person. And after that, I quickly began to climb. I moved to Colorado, and things have just gotten better and more interesting since. So if I had to identify a rite of passage, it would be that moment, pretty clearly. And finally, I think as I continue my life, rites of passages change, and I don't know where I'm going next. And I know in my hero's journey there's going to be new challenges that arise and things like that. And so, I try to look around the world and take in different beliefs. And I think ultimately, when I look at sort of the core religions we've been talking about in class, the first one that comes to mind is I really enjoy meditation. I think finding a quiet space. And like Siddhartha, I like to do it outdoors, and I like to be out where it's quiet and find some peace. And whether that's by a river on the top of the mountain, it doesn't matter. I think that's something I've really taken from the practice of sort of Eastern religions, such as Buddhism and Hinduism as well. I really value that. Another strong thing that I really enjoy is sort of the process of sacrifice. You see oftentimes the notion of sacrifice in Christianity, and sort of giving oneself up to a bigger cause, and sometimes seeing that you are bigger than something else, and it's a important to put yourself second. When I think at Jesus, he's someone who decided to put himself before his cause and really felt like he died for the ones that he loved. And that's a huge ultimate sacrifice. I couldn't even imagine doing it in my own life. So I always try to keep in mind that it's okay to put myself second, and those I care about in the world that I care about in front of me. I think that was a really wonderful lesson I take from Christianity. So ultimately, the last one that comes to mind is Islam. You know, in a religion that is in many ways foreign to me, and I don't feel like I really understand it. It's something that I really ultimately feel like I can take away their discipline. Very similar to my rite of passage, but that intentionality of praying 5 times a day just blows my mind. You know, and I think that's a sense of keeping yourself in check and remembering that there's a lot more outside of you that you don't understand, and it's very humbling. And I think that I would love to incorporate that sort of idea of discipline in my life, where I'm just constantly practicing something and not stopping just because I'm tired or just because I feel like I'm not up for it today. I think ultimately those are 3 things I can take in my life as I continue to go along this hero's journey, and the hero that I am, that is ultimately a visionary and an activist, and I can't wait to see what comes.